Hi and Namaste. I am Maniram Pandey and I have my colleague Mr. Om Prakash Poudel. We are the students of MPhil in English Education, second semester in Nepal Open University. Today, in this short presentation, we are going to present on Translation Aesthetics by Jiri Levy, page 57 to 79. This video is a part of our presentation for the paper Translation Studies in second semester. Before I enter to my topic, I would like to extend my gratitude to our respected course facilitators, Professor Ammaraj Joshi, Mr. Keshav Sigdel, and Mr. Mahesh Poudel. I sincerely acknowledge all my colleagues who supported me individually. Here is the presentation highlights. As it is a group presentation, I will cover the first part of the presentation, that is creative production, and my colleague in the next video will cover the second part of it. Under the topic creative production, Levy has given 4 subtopics. The first topic is translation as an art form. Second is the dual norm in translation. The third subtopic is the hybrid nature of translation, and the last one is the ambivalent relationship with the original literature. Let's begin with the first subtopic under creative production by Levy. Translation as an art form. Art. Art is the skill of creating something with training and practice. In 1920s, Otakar Fischer, the Czech scholar and translator, defined translation as an activity at the interface between science and art. For the translator's craft, contrastive analysis of the two language systems is needed. While translating, the translator's goal is to preserve, capture, and convey the original work and not to create a new work. Although the goal of translation is reproduction of the original text, it is not always possible. In course of translation, the translator substitutes a set of verbal material for another. This shows that translation is an autonomous, artistic or creative process. So, it is worth to say, reproduction can only be applied to technical reproduction. At the same time, if the translator fails to meet the requirement of an original, reproduction of the original may not be possible. Now, let's talk about dual norms in translation. Norms are the required standards. There needs 2 norms for the evolution of reproduction of arts. They are the reproduction norm and the artistic norm. The reproduction norm is the requirement to capture the original faithfully, and the artistic norm is the requirement of beauty. In translation, the term literal or faithful translation refers to the procedure for objective reproduction of the source, and free translation has something to do with creating original work of art by the translator. Both the qualities are too important. It means the translated version must be as accurate as production of the original work, and at the same time it has to be domesticated, otherwise it will be of little or of no use. A mechanical copy is difficult to understand, so a translator should not only preserve the formal patterns but also its semantic and aesthetic values as well. The duality of aesthetic norm in translation practice is sometimes a cause of disagreement amongst critics regarding the quality of particular translations. Now, let's talk about the third topic under creative production. The topic is hybrid nature of translation. Hybrid is the product of mixing 2 or different things. A translation work is a hybrid configuration, so it is not a monolithic or single work. While translating a work, a translator maintains the semantic content of the original text and at the same time, the translator contributes the artistic features in it. The content of the translated work is taken from the source culture, but it is written in the target language. A translator may intentionally apply a method which may not be appropriate with a consistent, principled artistry. However, the translator should find an accepted way of dealing with two or more ideas that seem to be opposed to each other. Now, let's discuss the fourth subtopic under creative production. The topic is ambivalent relationship with the original literature. Ambivalent here is showing both good and bad feelings about something. It has to be agreed that translation should receive the domestic culture to facilitate the readers. There is frequently a tension between the two translation tasks of translated literature. For example, reading the translation of Ramjana as the original text versus expecting the presence of Hindu epic. Likewise, another example can be Michael Hart seriously criticizes Shrestha's translation of Munamadan. He even says that Shrestha's attempt of translation is a failure. However, interestingly, Hart's own translation of Munamadan has serious problems too. So, it can be concluded that translativity can be negative or it may be positive. A perfect translation would require not only an ideal translator but also an ideal reader too. This is what Levy says under the topic creative production, which is again under the topic literature translation athletics. Here is the reference, The Art of Translation by Jiri, Levy. This is all from my side of presentation. The remaining topics will be dealt by my colleague, Mr. Prakash Poudel. Thank you for watching the video. Feel free to write comments in the comment box. Thank you very much.